there! I'm here with the one and only James A. Norris. James, is it okay if I call you Jim?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
My name is James Norris. I'm a history student at Stockton College. I am in my junior year, and I am 22, which means I have not been doing well in school. I live over at Society Hill, so if anyone wants to stop by and say hi, we're always welcome to have guests. And yeah, I enjoy working out and writing poetry. There you go. Next question.
Alright, well, who's your favorite poet?
My favorite poet would have to be, God, there's just so many to choose from. Besides myself, I would probably say Maya Angelou. Yeah.
What's your favorite poem?
My favorite poem? I just don't really have one, you know? I mean, poetry, you can't just really, my view, you can't just have one favorite poem because poetry encompasses so many aspects of life. You just be choosing one part of life. And that's impossible to do. So you kind of want a broad subject of poetry. So I just like broad subjects of poetry. I like poetry that deals with the inevitability of death and the emergence of life. So it's the kind of poetry I like. I don't have a certain typical poem I like that aspect of poetry.
Wow, that's inspiring. Can you, do you mind sharing a poem that you've written?
No. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I caught you off guard on that one. All right, ready? Life is but a fleeting moment, like a snowflake from a morning flurry. We float in bliss and merriment, and in an instant we hit ground and become one with the earth again.
Wow. What's the title of that?
It's untitled.
Oh, okay. And how long did it take you to write that?
It took me about a minute and a half.
A minute and a half?
Right before the interview. I'm going to be honest to all you people watching this. Right before this interview, I wrote that.
Okay, well, do you usually prefer a certain setting when you write?
You know what? I mean, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, if I'm actually with people or not. If I'm by myself, I like a nice little quiet area. I'll avoid my bed because I'll start to fall asleep. Usually a really uncomfortable chair because I want to get out of there as quickly as possible, so I will write really quickly. If I'm like at campus, I mean, the cafeteria, I mean, is pretty good. It's just really, really bustling. So I'll put on headphones, I'll put on my classical music. I downloaded the 50 Greatest Hits by the London Philharmonic to be able to write, and so yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll throw on my music and I'll sit and I'll just write.
Well, so you mentioned the harmonica. Does music in general help you write? Like, do you prefer, Pearl Jam or Red Hot Chili Peppers or?
No, if I prefer any type of music, it's going to be a classical music. Yeah, other music gets too distracting, and it's something other types of music I really enjoy, and I know the words of the songs, so I want to start singing them. So I'll end up writing the lyrics to the songs on a piece of paper instead of a poem. And we don't want that. So we want music that has no words, and classical music has no words. So.
Right. Okay, well, do you ever share your poetry with other people besides me?
No. Most of the time I don't. Most of the time I like to write it and then throw it away afterwards because I'm not really a poet. So yeah, I just enjoy writing.
Okay.
For the sake of writing.
So, when did poetry become important to you?
You know what? Poetry became important when I had to pass a class last semester, or last year, winter semester. It was class review, actually. And we had to write poems, and I don't use, I wrote, but I never shared it with anyone, and we actually had to share, so I had to put some sort of effort into it, and that's how that became important. I actually got to be in the class, so it wasn't bad.
Okay, now when was the first time you were actually exposed to poetry?
When I was 6, 5, Roses are red, violets are blue, Do You Like Me, Because I Like You. That's how I met my first girlfriend, by the way. Yeah, that was probably the first time I hit poetry. but like serious poetry, I would say probably high school.
Yeah?
Yeah, we had our English class, we had to read it, we never had to write it. We just had to read poetry. So
Was there ever like a teacher that stood out to you that kind of ruined it for you, or she like made it better, or he helped you a lot?
Her name was Miss Lamana, and she was possibly the hardest teacher I ever had in my life. It's my junior year of high school. And her entire idea of class was to torture me and 3 other kids because we were popular and she was not. And plus I was much better looking than she was, and she did not enjoy that whatsoever. I'm only kidding about that. She's actually a really good teacher. There's a bee right there. Yeah, just watch out for you.
Alright, thanks. Well, what inspired you to write poetry?
Necessity for graduation inspired me to start. What continues is emotions, I guess you could say. Depending on how I feel, if I'm just in a really good moment, I'll be like, I feel inspirational. I feel like, how the people in the Bible, when they wrote the Bible, like God comes down, strikes me in the head, it's like, write this, and I do. And it usually comes out pretty awesome.
Always, all the time? Do you ever have to edit a lot or any,
I haven't edited my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
Wow.
I passed all my classes without editing. Because perfection doesn't need to be edited.
That's great. That's wonderful. Okay.
So awesome, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So do you ever snack in the middle of you writing? Do you prefer a certain snack or some brain food?
Stupid question.
Some water?
It's a stupid question. But out of necessity for this video, yes, I usually stuff my face with everything humanly possible because I'm really fat. And if I happen to be writing at the time, I'll be writing at the time. If not, I'll just be snacking at the time. But
do you have like a favorite pen that you always have to write with, or pencil? Do you actually prefer pen or pencil?
You are running out of questions.
No, I'm not. I have a buttload right here.
No, I usually enjoy pens that don't write, so that I have to carve it into my book. No, anything with ink that won't smear, because I write like a caveman. So usually I drag my hand across and it smears everything. So gel pens don't work very well. Yeah.
Do you actually have a preferred style of poetry? Like an acrostic, a free verse? Do you like prose, free verse, always?
It's always free verse, just because, again, it's free verse. You have the freedom to write, honestly, whatever, and it doesn't have to be a style.
So you don't ever follow like a rhyme scheme or any kind of
Every once in a while I will. But
iambic pentameter?
I run out of ideas
sonnets.
if I keep trying to rhyme. It's just, I run out of words to rhyme with. There's no, I can't do it. I have to do everything free verse. It just sounds better. More romantic sounding.
Do you ever write for your girlfriend?
No.
Like not even for Valentine's Day?
Not at all.
Only for you?
Only for me. Only for my eyes.
No one sees them?
And maybe once in a while for an interview, This is actually my 3rd interview this year, surprisingly.
Really?
No, I'm lying. No, this is my 1st.
I think you have another poem you want to share. Do you want to share that with me?
No.
I think there's one that you wrote down sporadically.
Okay, yeah. I can read it for you.
There you go. I think it's over there.
I didn't write it down.
You didn't write it down? So do you just know it? You just know in your head?
No.
I think you do.
Alright. Roses are red, violets are blue. You ran out of questions, so now we're through. And that's it.
Earlier I asked you, stop it. Earlier I asked you who your favorite poet was, and I think you told me you don't have one. But I recall you saying that Edgar Allan Poe was a good one. Well, which one's your favorite poem by him?
Oh my God, The Raven is the best.
Why?
It's just awesome. It's very dark. I love dark poetry. Obviously, Edgar Allan Poe is the major person with dark style poetry. Why I love The Raven
Thanks, Jimbo. Thank you for doing this interview.